but I want to learn a little bit about you, Tommy.
Okay.
So I know you obviously did. You were in WTF1.
Yeah.
I'd like to get an idea in a second of like whether you own that, whether a company was employing you on that, you and Matt. But I want to go back to before that. So what happened before WTF1? Before you had this kind of online presence?
So before that, I was still at university before WTF1, doing music. So very different. And yeah, WTF1 was something that I just started as a blog way back 2010. So yeah, very long time ago, pre-Drive to Survive. The sport was very different. Twitter was very different.
Yeah.
Not as argumentative and toxic. And yeah, I just had the idea of, now everyone's kind of gone down that route of social media of, look at the F1 launch event that we were just talking about, like more fun, have banter, like show the fun side of the sport and the characters and something a bit different in the fandom. But back then there was no Formula One meme pages. There was no kind of, now there's like hundreds and there's loads and the sport's like massive. But back then I was kind of, there was a few like other pages that I liked that weren't Formula One. And I was very much like, well, there should be a Formula One page like this that's like fun to read. It's not kind of, there's a place for your auto sports and stuff, definitely, like in the journalism side of it. But it was about like creating a more fun page that people that just want something a bit more lighthearted in the fandom of Formula One. So I started that as a blog when I was at university, and yeah, just grew it on Facebook really. So this was like before Matt joined or anything like that. So I did that for 5-6 years.
And this is just you solo?
This is just me soloing it. The odd help from people here and there, like friends, family, where I needed it. But it was more just like posting memes, growing an Instagram, a Facebook, back when there wasn't as many huge numbers on social media.
It was harder to grow back then as well, because we've had the benefit with this podcast, not that we've got a huge following, but views and stuff like that on stuff like Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. It's easy now to get a lot of views with the small following, and that's
you can hit an algorithm, can't you? Yeah.
That's how we've actually got any followers. But back then it must have been it's really difficult to just do the odd, I know it's not the odd Facebook post, but to get more and more people to see it is such a slow burner, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%, because social media has changed so much. Like you say, you can have like no following and something can get picked up by an algorithm, and you can get like 5 million views on a video and have 2 followers. Like follow account doesn't matter. Whereas back when it was this, your feed, if you like, was only people you followed or your friends. So you're relying on people like liking the page and going, oh, I actually like this. Whereas now it's all kind of algorithmic, knowing, oh, you need to paint your wall or whatever. Here's some paint adverts or all this kind of stuff. And everything is like, it knows what you want to see in your page. Whereas back then you just relied on bringing people in, hoping they liked the stuff, building that brand, if you like, and having people stay there.
Yeah.
And was there a point where it started off as, say, a hobby? Was it like literally a hobby? Was there a point where you just saw it really pick up and took it and thought, wow, this is actually something?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I started it because I'm a massive Formula One fan and had been since I was a kid. So it was a way of doing that hobby, and very much like when I was at university, I'd graduated and I was doing WTF1 when I was, my I think second year maybe, and then the third year, it got quite a following on Facebook. I'd got invited to, like a Sky Sports open day and cool. Things like that. So it was very much like that point in my life where I was like, well, I've almost got the experience and I'm getting more opportunities from this than I would be from like my university degree in music. So I and I enjoyed doing it more. And it was like fun, and being able to be invited to these kind of like press days and stuff, which was really weird when you were, quite young and didn't expect it to all happen. It was kind of like, okay, this could actually be something. And then, it was just like building it up, and then it kind of got enough of a following where I could get jobs within motorsport, like freelancing for like Red Bull and stuff, to like write things and be their editor. And it was like then it was just a side project that was a bit of fun, but one that was like had a big following and was gaining a lot of popularity because it was very unique and there wasn't anything really like it. But it was very different.
So then you go from this like journalist kind of approach where you're posting on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, growing those
things,
getting invited, doing some freelance work. All of it, you've done a 3-year grind, and now you're finally at this point where you're getting asked to do work for people, to write stuff for people. For me, I used to follow WTF1 when, honestly, it was almost a bit like original Top Gear. Like I followed it when you guys were on it, and then when you guys left, I left with you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so did a lot of your a lot of the followers. But when did you decide? Because YouTube, I think, is when it skyrocketed.
When it went massive, yeah.
So when and how did that come about?
So I'd spoken to Car Throttle, the big YouTube page, and they were massive on Facebook and YouTube, and I had various conversations with them, and I felt like I'd taken WTF1 as far as I could as like a blog and a meme page and a social media following. And I was literally at like a crossroads of like, I don't know what to do, because, I couldn't, it wasn't, even though it was like massive and popular, it was hard to like monetize. And I wasn't like, didn't have that business savvy side to know like where I could take it to the next level, or the finances to, take a risk and be like, I'm going to employ people or this. Like it wasn't making any money really. So, it got to the point where I was very much like, okay, it's kind of now or never what I do with this. And just at that time, Car Throttle wanted to acquire it. So I sold the brand to Car Throttle and joined as the kind of guy still doing it, but with the promise of like, so I joined as an employee and like I guess like an editor in chief, if you like, or something. And they would basically have people on that would help with growing the page and also starting a YouTube channel. So that was the time where me and the guys from Car Throttle looked for a presenter, which, as mentioned previously, hundreds and hundreds of like content creators and things in motorsport now, loads and loads. But back in 2016, I knew about 5. And even like looking on YouTube, it was, you got to think this was back when Formula One themselves didn't even have an official social media page. Like it just wasn't a thing.
Really?
Like, pre-Drive to Survive, they had no social channel. They didn't have an official Twitter page. They were very anti-social media in the like Bernie Ecclestone era. They thought it was a phase. They didn't want to be involved in it. Which obviously helped WTF1's growth because there was all these people, as the internet and social media was exploding, but Formula One had no presence. So people were like, oh, this page is quite cool. And that's obviously when we kind of interviewed a couple of different people and Matt joined.
How did you find Matt?
So he was posting a lot of YouTube gaming stuff. But the one that really stood out was he posted a video of him in his kitchen where Nico Rosberg had just retired, and he like did this like massive rant about like why is Rosberg retired and stuff. And his kind of like energy was like, okay, this suits the WTF1 brand. And again, like he didn't, similar to me before I joined Car Throttle, it was just kind of like a side hustle for him that was just a bit of fun. Wasn't his full-time job or whatever. And we approached him and he kind of, did a bit of an interview process and whatever, and then came on as the main presenter.
Amazing. So what was nice there then, if Car Throttle sort of to, run. Sorry.
Pointing the mic towards you.
My bad.
Sounds like you're shouting down a corridor.
This is why I hold it, because I look away.
It's all right, just
So
face it at you. There you go.
So did this allow you guys to just focus on the creativity side? So now at Car Throttle had almost taken over the business. You and Matt were like just coming up with the ideas for the content. Was that?
Yeah, exactly. And then we had Jess, who's now at Sky. She kind of was working at Car Throttle. She joined over as well. Excuse me. And she joined as well from that side. And that's when us three did the WTF1 podcast, which got kind of really took off there. And we had that side of doing YouTube videos as well. And it was quite funny because Matt had a message about driving a Renault F1 car from his old gig. And it was almost like we peaked too early. Like the first, I think it was like 2 weeks into the new channel, Matt drove an F1 car, and it's like, well, where does the channel go from here? That's like the peak of the mountain.
That was nuts, though.
Yeah, I remember.
He's got no experience.
No experience. So
it was Paul Ricard, was it? In a Renault?
No, it was Silverstone.
It was in a Renault,
the short track, I think it was.
He didn't. I thought he drove at Paul Ricard as well at some point, because he did I think he did the where they put you in an F4 car and then up to the Renault. Yeah. Maybe that was a later date. That was
there is that one, but Matt didn't do that. He's just done the Silverstone one, and it was like this competition of them doing a kind of an F1 kind of show where they Renault got different people in to like go through their paces and see if they could be a driver in a Clio and stuff, a Clio Cup. That McGann race car thing that they had, and then straight into an F1 car, which was nuts. Crazy. And that was such a really early video, but it helped grow the channel massively. And again, that was 2017. It was almost like the perfect storm of like, we started that YouTube channel. And that 2017 would have been first year of Drive to Survive as well, the first season they covered. So we'd started YouTube channel, grown a kind of following, and got like 200,000 subscribers or whatever. And then Drive to Survive came out, all these new fans coming in, and we were like probably one of the only F1 motorsport pages on YouTube that were doing that, and all these people that came in wanted that kind of content. So
then you grow WTF1. Was there any struggle in that? What was the pressure that people don't see behind the scenes with that? Or was it taken off because you were working with Car Throttle on this?
So there was, I think it got to the point where like we were tied to Car Throttle, and Car Throttle were changing quite a lot. They got bought out by a company called Dennis Publishing, which were more like a traditional media outlet that did, I think, like autocar and those kind of like that side of automotive. So we were there and WTF1 was like massive and doing really well, but it was like constantly we were like hopping between different brands and stuff. Then we moved over where we actually broke away from Car Throttle because the race media bought it, and then we became part of that kind of network, if you like. So that's when it was me, Matt, and Katie Fairman doing it. And COVID again was that actually was one of those, I don't know, this is like a weird thing, but it's helped. It's kind of that COVID period, I think, was a massive moment for Formula One. Because you had the drivers in lockdown showing that side of the sport, and it really boomed in that kind of period. And it was a very weird time because we joined during COVID, so we hadn't met all these people that had just bought this channel. We just carried on doing it ourselves. And it was very much, like me, Matt, got Katie on board to do the website, and then eventually joined the podcast. And so that was like until I left, me and Matt left to join P1, we were with the race media, basically.
Okay. And then you leave WTF1.
Yeah.
So is you leave and then you start your own thing with P1 Podcast with Matt. Why?
Because there was a lot of things from WTF1 that, we wanted to... Firstly, I wanted a new challenge because I've been doing it for years and years, like 12 years in the same job. WTF1, I felt like I'd got it to the point where, we got to 1 million subscribers. I liked doing more of the podcast side of things, and kind of being more focused on the digital side. And WTF1 still had, a website that, of course, was doing very, very well. So they wanted to like focus on that. There was a lot behind the scenes as well. It was a full-time job, so there was other things we had to do, and it got to the point where I thought, if we could start something and it would be just a podcast, I'd have more free time, be more enjoyable, and we'd be our own. I'd be my own boss again, and there wasn't that side of it. So that was the reason for doing it. I'd had just had a baby, so it was kind of like quite a crazy time to do it.
How old are you at that point?
So I'm 35.
Really?
Yeah, which people think I'm a lot younger.
I thought you were like
you look younger. Yeah.
I thought you were late 20s or something.
No. So yeah, like my daughter had just been born, and I was still at WTF1, but it was a lot of work. I think this is something that like Katie Fairman said before, that you're working like round the clock. The hours of like Formula One is so unsociable. You could like be out with friends and family, and if F1 news broke, because it was only me, Katie, and Matt really like doing that side of it, we had to like jump on and do stuff, and it was kind of a bit like, I don't want to be a news outlet. Do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And I wanted a fresh challenge, so yeah, left. Very scary period of basically like 1 month not knowing how it was perceived. It was very like, people were very surprised by it. And I think that, the day we left, people were like so shocked. They're like, what on earth is going on?
I remember.
Yeah, like it was crazy. Like Matt and Tommy was like trending on Twitter and stuff. And it was like, wow. Because everyone had always said, people are there for you and the personalities, and that's why people follow it. You mentioned earlier about like Top Gear or whatever. Someone actually ended up doing a video about that went quite big, comparing us to that. But we were like, well, we'll start a new thing. It's going to be a lot smaller than WTF1, but it's fine. Like, we've got the freedom. We can do what we want. It's a fresh start. We've got that excitement again of doing it because, WTF1, it was a grind, been doing it so long. Naturally, you kind of lose a bit of interest and whatever.
Especially when it's not your baby anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I had ideas of where I wanted to take the channel. It wasn't always my decision. So then, we started P1, and even just like the day we left WTF1 was like the maddest day ever, because it was kind of like, wow, people were really, you get so caught up in just like numbers, and you don't really think it's real people. And haters shout the loudest and whatever. But when we actually left, the amount of people that were just messaging going like, I can't believe you've left, like WTF1 will never be the same. You were like, I've grown up watching you on WTF1 and really supportive. But it wasn't until we started P1 that even then there's still that doubt of kind of going, well, will people move over when we start the new channel and stuff? And thankfully they did.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Nerve-wracking.
So the first 24 hours was pretty mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you gained how many subscribers?
So we hit 100,000 subscribers in the first day.
That's crazy.
Which is mad.
That's nuts.